Right guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm just going to show you how to install a Shimano 105 R7000 front derailleur onto your bike. So I'll go ahead and show you steps. Right guys, so once you removed your derailleur from the box, it looks something like this. This is a band on, not a braze on. Same principle obviously, but your braze on one will just go on your mech hanger at the front. So just undo it and you can bolt it on there, but this one happens to be a band on that I'm fitting. As regards to the screws, you've got your high and low screws that you can see in here, they're next to each other, and they're 2mm Allen keys, hex heads, same as that, it's a 2mm as well, hex head. Or just adjust your cable tension when you got your cable pinched up. So I'll get to that later, but that's just what the screws are and where they are. As you can see there, it says high and low, so there's your high and low screws there, or hex heads as they are now, and that one just adjusts the cable tension, which I'll show you later on. And with regards to the lines on there, what you're looking at, there's a line there just at the top of my thumb, silver line there, and there's another one just there in front of my thumb. So what it's doing is that cable tension adjustment, when I get to it at a later stage, but I'm just showing you it now, those two lines line up basically. So I'll show you again. That line there and that line there, they join together. So right, while you got the derailleur on the floor, before you go ahead and mount it around your frame, the cable stop will run up in there. The cable, there's a little slot for it to slip into, but it's designed, if you look at it closely, it's got a flat up in there, for a flat side, and those flat sides correspond with the cable end stop, like so. Cable end, you see the flat on both sides, so therefore that goes up in there first, otherwise the cable is just rubbing where the cable mounts, it's just metal, so it's just going to wear where you've done it up, and it comes up through the pinch bolts over here now, so the cable goes down through there. So there's a wear point there. So the cable stop, you can cut these down a little bit, it doesn't need to be a full length one. You can just cut it off, so it's just the top showing like that. So you can cut the ridges off. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll put it up in there. Right, so there we have it installed up in there, as you can see. It just gives, if it slots up in there like that, it just gives somewhere for the cable to run into when you put it up through under your bottom bracket. It comes up through that hole and then up over the top. So first step is obviously remove your chain from the bike. Then you can go ahead and make sure that the lever is in the position so that the derailleur is down on the small chain ring at the front before you go ahead and then undo your cut your cable stop off and undo your pinch bolt, and then drop the cable off, because you need to put a new cable on, so it's worth putting a new cable on anyway. And the fact that the cable might not be long enough, or it could be frayed up in the lever end or whatever, and then so you're better off just replacing it with a new cable. So run a new cable in position, ready, and then you can go ahead and just unbolt your old derailleur 5mm hex head to remove it. This just happens to be the old 105 5800. So I'll go ahead and get this off, and then we'll start with the installation of the R7000. So once you remove your old derailleur and you've got your new one clamped round, or this is a band on, if it's a braze on, you've just got it on your hanger there and nipped up, you go ahead, obviously because it's a band on, it moves side to side, whereas a braze on will just move up and down. So best thing to do is, if it's band on, is you can get it parallel with the outer chainring teeth. They'll almost be in line with the outside of the cage there, all the way down. When you're looking from it from behind, looking down, looking back at it like that, they'll be almost parallel there. And then obviously you've got your guide on the side, so you can just line your teeth up with that guide, like so, as you can see. And that just allows for the gaps, like it says on there anyway, like a 1mm gap. Too big a gap, it's not going to knock the chain off down to the small chain ring. So, as you say, you just line it up to there, get it parallel with the teeth. Once you've got your new cable running as well from the lever, then I'll go ahead and show you how to hook the cable up. Right, so once you've got your new cable in position, the top cover there just pops off, like so, to reveal the pinch bolt at the top, as you can see there, which is a 4mm hex head. But that will turn like so. As you can see, the stop that's there, you can see there, the stop on the end of that, turn it around a bit there. When you put your cable through to pinch it up, make sure that that is actually touching the end of here, because when you do the 2mm adjuster up there, it pushes through and pushes on that tab, and that's what does the adjusting. So if you just make sure that's flicked back there, so it's actually at the end there. So when that's being done up, it's going through and pushing on that, that's then putting the tension on as it goes round. As it moves this round, it knocks it round, puts the tension on, so make sure that's touching there first of all. Then you can go ahead, 4mm hex head there, and just slacken that off, like so. Make sure that's pushed back there, like I said. Then you go ahead and just put your cable underneath it there, like so, and just leave it there. Now when you go to pull on, just pull on the cable. When you're nipping up your pinch bolt, just make sure you keep pulling on it as you nip it up. So right guys, once you've pulled on your cable, pinched it up like so, make sure that it's still touching the end there. The piece of silver come round there and it's touching. Make sure they're touching there. So you can just leave your cable like it is for now, like so. And then what you want to do is, at your lever end there, is just shift up to the outer chain ring like so, and then you can just click your lever once and it just moves there, not down to the, if you click it again it goes down to the small chain ring. So I'll put it back up and it's just, there's an in between there, just tap it once and it goes halfway in between the two, and that's where the adjustment is made, to adjust the lines there if they need adjusting. You can see there, I'll point to them. So you're trying to line up the lines on there, you see. So if you adjust it, it's a 2mm hex head. So you get your 2mm hex head there, and you can adjust it by clockwise, moves it over, as you can see. You can see that there, until they're in line, like so. You just adjust it, and all it's doing is just putting tension on. It's hard to show you, but like so. So you can see there that the two lines are now lined up. So right guys, the next stage is the adjustment screws. Now you can get your chain like I've got here you can put it over your big chain ring like so. Obviously with the shifter put up, make sure it is set at the top, hasn't moved before you go ahead and do that. Make sure it still is where it was. You can put your chain on like so, you don't have to do it up, you can just put it on there, hold that end and hold the other end and just pull on it and see if it's going to be touching obviously anywhere. When it's on the, you want it on the small one at the back obviously, and the 11 at the back, then just see if it's going to be touching anywhere. And all you do is the high screw, which is there like so, that just moves the cage. See, you don't know if you'll be able to see it move or not, but it just moves the cage left and right ever so slightly, so you can just hold your chain either end and just see when it's in the 11, just make sure it's always going to be touching basically on the, when it's in the 11 it's almost going to be touching on the outer sort of wear plates they got inside in here. It's almost going to be touching there, but you can adjust it so it's just skimming it, and then go ahead, and then we can go ahead and do the low screw then. So right guys, now you can put your chain on the small chain ring at the front obviously, and then the big sprocket at the back, a 32 or whatever you've got on the back, 28. Route it through so it's actually connected up, and then to do the low screw obviously it's reverse sort of the high screw really. You want it on the small and the big like I said, and then you want it so the chain, when you're on the largest at the back there and the smallest at the front, you just want it so the chain is just almost just passing the guide there at the front. So you got your low screw there like so, and when you turn that obviously it moves the cage like so. Obviously do it back the other way, it moves it out that way. So clockwise is just moving it over towards the outer chain ring, which is no good because obviously it's hitting into the chain and putting a slight curve in the chain. So just adjust it back over like so. So it's just missing the the chain like so. Just missing on the chain's just missing the stop, the guide there, just literally just passing it without touching it. So once you've done that, you're ready to move on to the cable up here. So I haven't cut it or anything yet, but now we can tidy the cable up and mount it through the little plastic housing. So right, when it comes to mounting the cable, obviously shift up to the outer chain ring again, and that puts it up in the air like so. And then to feed the cable round, it just goes literally under there's a little groove for it, and then it clips under there, under the outside there, and then goes round the back like that, and then over the top like so. So once you got it in that position, then you can go ahead and change back down to the inner chain ring, and then it'll be level again. So once you shift it back down to the inner and it's level again like so, obviously you've got your cap what just covers up the pinch bolt there. So there's a round bit in the middle, round peg in the middle, and that just goes down the centre of the pinch bolt. So you just find that, just drop that down the centre of the pinch bolt like so, and that's on there covered up. But the cable, all you do with the cable is this piece of plastic, I'll take it back off again, the cable goes through, there's a bigger hole there and then it comes out the small hole there. So there you have it, you end up with something like that. The cable comes out through there, like so, out of there, and then all you do is when you're happy with everything, you make sure you checked in, double checked it, adjustments etc. You can snip your cable and then just put a cable stop on there like that, and then it's complete. So there's a 105 5800, 108, and here's the R7000 105, 111. Right, that's the installation complete behind me. As I say, it's pretty simple to do, just follow the steps and take your time. If you found the video useful in any way, give it a thumbs up, and until next video, ride safe and I'll see you then.